What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Art of Violence. Want to talk about Connor versus Chandler. I don't know. It's on, it's off. Connor's partying, then he's back on, then he's off, then he's high in interviews, then the fight's off, then it's back on. I don't really know what to think at this point. I think it's happening. I don't even know. I think it is. I think that's the latest news that we've gotten, is that the fight is happening and everything is a go. So I'm going to go with that. And man, does Connor really have a chance against Chandler after coming off of like when was the last time he won a fight? I guess it was Donald Cerrone, which I don't really know if that's like it's kind of like that's kind of like banging the town whore that everyone's banged. Like, everyone's kind of beaten Donald Cerrone. Like, Alex Morono beat Donald Cerrone, and I never knew who Alex Morono was until he beat Donald Cerrone, because that's how like irrelevant he was in the UFC. And Alex Morono is not particularly good, and yet he's still knocked out Donald Cerrone. So I don't really know if that's an accomplishment what Connor did, because again, everyone's kind of beaten Cerrone. But it's just like, when your last win is Donald Cerrone, things are not looking too good. Things are, sorry, I thought I had something in my face. Things are not looking too good. So, it's going to be interesting to really see how Connor comes back and what style he has. He seems to go between different styles, which is very interesting and hasn't really done him very well. He used to have this kind of karate-ish style where it's karate boxer kind of style where he'd bounce back and forth, like he did when he beat Jose and a bunch of other guys. And then when it came to fighting Khabib, he just walked forward and seemed to have kind of this more like kind of a Muay Thai, I'm just gonna walk forward and not back up style. And that seemed to not go well for him in that fight. Apparently he broke his foot too a couple weeks before, I guess. So that might have been one of the reasons why he didn't want to go back and forth on the foot in a bouncy style. And then, he fought Donald, and he just came forward kind of almost like a reckless boxer a little bit. And then he fought Dustin, and he came out the first time. He came out literally like a boxer, with his kind of came out like Max Holloway, but a less intelligent version of Max Holloway. He came out with his feet squared, faced that way away from you in a traditional boxer stance where they go into a Philly shell, with his feet facing outward, wide open for a calf kick, which Dustin eventually took advantage of and utilized. And that didn't work. Mr. Can't Check a Kick then came out the second time and came out in a how did he come out in the second fight? How did he come out? He came out super kick heavy with, it looks like more of a karate style, bouncy athletic style stance. Came out very kick heavy. Remembered that he could kick, apparently. And he had more like an MMA stance where it's it's like a halfway between a wrestling and a Muay Thai stance where you're straightforward, but your feet are not so they're not bladed like they would a boxer would be, to the point where now you're open for a calf kick. He came out with much more of an athletic stance. I have to go back and watch that fight to see how he really looked, but he seems to just switch between different things. I don't know how he's going to come out this time. He might come out in a leotard and just try to wrestle, Chandler. He might come out in a karate gi and just challenge him to a karate contest or some shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. He might come out with a pillow and just challenge Chandler to a freaking pillow fight. You never know, man. You never know with Connor. I think he should probably just pick to something and stick to it, because he seems to try to reinvent himself in these ways that just don't really work. But it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to come out I think that, like, the threat of a calf kick from Chandler typically isn't that great. So I feel like he's going to come out with more like a boxer heavy mindset. I feel like he's going to be ready to sprawl. I feel like he's going to be looking for big counters because Chandler jumps into things. And guys, don't get it twisted. Like, he's picked Chandler for a reason. He's picked Chandler because he thinks he can beat Chandler. He would not have picked him if he didn't think he could win. He's picked him because he sees something in his style that he thinks, oh, I can take that. I can beat that. And I think I know what it is, and that's the fact that Chandler literally jumps into shots. Like, if you've ever seen a gazelle punch in boxing, it's where you like jump in with his hook, like you actually leave your feet and jump in. You know, Chandler does like those style of things, but like not very intelligently. He just leaps into shit. And when you have a sniper like Conor, you know, you can leap right into a beautifully timed left or right hand. You know, it's interesting because they even asked Dustin, they're like, hey, who do you think's going to win? And Dustin actually said, I think Conor's going to knock him out. And that's very interesting because Dustin knocked out Conor and, you know, was probably on his way to winning the second fight, I would say. Pretty even the first round. But I would say was on his way to winning the second fight. Was taking over. When Conor's one big counter shot doesn't land, and you start landing on him and countering him, he starts to get very in his head and kind of he breaks. He gets intimidated and kind of overwhelmed and frustrated. Conor does. But you know, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting that Dustin said that he thinks Conor will knock Chandler out because he's fought Conor 3 times and he's fought Chandler once and finished Chandler. So it's interesting that he says such a bold statement that Conor's going to knock him out because Dustin didn't even knock out Chandler. So very interesting statement. Yeah, I think if Chandler just does some dumb stuff and starts jumping into things, I think Conor has a real shot. I think if Conor is dumb, I think if Conor's cardio is not on point, I think if he is not very selective with his punches and doesn't manage distance well, and starts to brawl with Chandler, I think that's where Chandler has a shot. I think he needs to keep Chandler at bay with footwork. I think he needs to feint him, utilize some kicks to the body, maybe some calf kicks, because Chandler's wide open for calf kicks. Dude does not check kicks. Maybe press Chandler backwards. Think he's got a recipe for success. If not, wants to brawl, wants to mess around, wants to get cute, Chandler could put him away. He could like wrestle grind him, you know. He could Khabib him. It's possible that Chandler could do that to him. I don't see that though. I don't think Chandler likes that. I think Chandler likes to brawl. He likes to bang. He wants to knock Conor out. So man, if it's between rounds 1 and 2, I would say if the first 2 rounds, Conor definitely has a big advantage. After 2, Conor could start to fade. Conor could start to fade. His cardio has been questionable in the past. Chandler could take over, especially if Chandler comes with a wrestling heavy game plan, which we haven't really seen lately. It'd be interesting. It'd be very interesting. We'll see how this goes. I think Conor's gonna. I don't know. I have a feeling Conor could catch him early, but I could see Conor just doing some dumb stuff and getting knocked out by Chandler. You know, getting against the fence, staying in range too long, brawling. You know, I don't know. I can see it. I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it away. I want Conor to lose. I want him to lose. I'm sick of this dude, man. I used to look up to that dude so much. I think I was actually really affected when he lost to Khabib. It's like seeing someone you really look up to get destroyed. I was really affected by that for like a week. But I don't know. I'm just so sick of the guy. He's annoying. He does dumb things. He's not a good example for, I think, a lot of people to look up to now. He's wasted a lot of his talent. He overestimates himself. He's delusional. He has the wrong people around him, clearly. You know, his head coach said, like, Conor knows more than all of us about fighting, so we'll just let him lead the camp. And Conor keeps that guy around. You know, I don't think Connor's a good example of like. I mean, obviously he's super rich, so it's weird to say, but like in some ways, I don't think you should become like him because he's so delusional, and I don't think he ever thinks he's wrong. He always has to be right. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. He's like mildly narcissistic. I think he's deserved the downfall that he's gotten. So it is what it is. I want him to lose. I want him to get knocked out. We'll see if he does. Kind of want the McGregor era to be over. It's hanging on by like a thread. If he gets knocked out, I think that'll kind of be the end of him in many ways. We'll see, man. We'll see. If Chandler can last 3 rounds, I think he's got a shot towards the end. If he can't, then the first 2 to 3 is probably going to be McGregor. We'll see, though, man. Chandler's going to be super powerful and explosive in those first couple rounds, too. McGregor does some dumb stuff. He could get overwhelmed and put away by Chandler. I'd kind of like to see it. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win? How are they going to win? Let me know in the comments below. My name is Angelo, the Zero to Violence. Till next time.